This is Dr. Farrah Podcast Studio, and today we are in conversation with Saad Tawwab, who is Chief Marketing and E-commerce Officer, Samsung, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Saad is also LUMS MBA from the batch of 2006. Let's invite Saad to understand the magic of Samsung.
Assalamu alaikum ji. Thank you very
Walaikum
much.
salam. Welcome, Saad, to my show.
Thank you very much. It's an honor. Thank you very much.
There is a signature question that I ask to all my guests, and that is, who is Saad Tawwab? How do you define him?
I think that's a good question. So thank you for asking me that. I think on a kind of overall level, of course, I'm a Lahori, so I'm born and bred in Lahore. After that, I'm also through and through LUMS because along with my MBA 2006, I also did my BSc 2001 from LUMS in computer science. So again, long while back, coming to 25 years on that as well. So again, so that would be there. Then of course, I'm a husband. I have my wife. She's from again in a tradition of LUMS MBA. She's also from MBA LUMS. So we got married right after the graduation. So that's there. And then I have three kids, and I'm a family man. So again, that's on the on the personal side. But if you look at from a professional standpoint, again, I'm somebody who's worked in the some of the top marketing or the top companies, tier one companies. So I worked at Procter and Gamble for 11 years. It was an honor for me. I consider it one of the best marketing institutes in the world. So I worked there. Then I worked in Coca-Cola for 5 years. Again, one of the premier marketing companies in the world. And then of late, I've started working in Samsung over the last 1.5 years or so. Again, so I've been honored, privileged to be part of kind of really, really esteemed top tier companies. So that would be, in terms of the experience bit. But I think who I think getting to the crux of your question, how do I define myself? So I think the first thing is I am somebody who would want to challenge something, somebody who would want to um, हमारे competition, our competition, Pepsi, I think they came up with this nice kind of slogan called "Why Not Meri Jaan." So I really, really like that. Even with my team, I question that a lot. Why not? Why not? Why can't we do this again? So somebody who challenges the status quo and maybe tries to push the envelope on different elements. Again, in terms of advertisement, in terms of budgets, in terms of no new platforms and stuff. So again, that's something that I take pride on. Again, somebody who's challenging and somebody who just keeps on trying. कि अच्छा यार ये कर लेते हैं. I still remember when we used to go out, and when I was in Pampers, we had a shoestring budget. And when we would be going out on offsites with kind of regional teams, other people would be hanging out, discussing other things. I would be talking to the regional directors and stuff. Can I make this ad? Can I do this? Can I do? So again, just that whole kind of thing about just pushing and trying to do one more thing. And I think I shared it with you before as well. So kind of my inspiration in this regard has been my mother and my father, because they started this Institute for Special Children long time back in 1984-85. It's called Rising Sun Institute. It's one of the biggest special children institute in Pakistan. So I found that really inspiring, that without any kind of resources, without any kind of backing, just a kind of a dream of helping people with special needs, they were able to come up with an institution that is now day in, day out serving 800 to 900 students. So I think that would be one thing that I would. So I think that's inspirational for me to how you try to keep on doing things one step at a time. So that would be one. The second thing, in my opinion, is somebody who likes to invest in other people, somebody who likes to grow other people. So I'm really privileged. A lot of times when I see people who have actually, most primarily because that's the primarily in Procter and Gamble, because that's where I spend the most amount of time. That now I see people who I hired as interns, ABMs, actually doing marketing directors or even senior positions, not just in P&G but in Nestle. So I have a few people who are in the Mancom. One person who is in the Mancom of Nestle Pakistan. I have a person who is now leading the marketing for for Procter and Gamble in Pakistan. So again, all of these people that I was in a way maybe impact
Yeah.
somehow to be maybe just help them get along on their journey of professional growth. So I think that is somebody. The second bit, somebody who likes to help people, build them up, grow them. And maybe, and again, something similar akin to this, again, I shared with you that I'm teaching at the Center of Continuing Education at LUMS. Initially, I was like, okay, just my wife actually listed me up. She said, "Oh, this is something that came up. Why didn't you do this? Because you like to teach marketing and you like to talk about marketing and stuff." So I think, now I've done 4 cohorts. Hopefully,
Mhm.
inshallah, we will be doing the fifth one in August or somewhere. So again, somebody just to help. And again, the key thing is I engage with people outside the class also. So there are a lot of entrepreneurs who come to me after this that, this is the marketing campaign that I'm making. This is the product I'm making. What do you think? And, I love to help them. So that would be it. And I think the third kind of aspect would be somebody who's very curious, who likes to learn, likes to understand things. Again, um, a lot of the marketing that I've learned is not that I what I learned in maybe the MBA school. Sorry to say that from Lam's perspective, but I think a lot of it has been through PNG, through
Yeah.
Coca-Cola, but also learning a lot of it on LinkedIn through people that things that people are posting over there. अच्छा किसी ने लिखा है कि ये किताब पढ़ो. This is an amazing book. So again, the one key area that I like to highlight is that there's this guy called Bagel who's an entrepreneur. He's sorry, he marketing guru. I don't know. Maybe I disagree, but he thinks he's a marketing guru. So there was a debate going on LinkedIn, and then one of my PNG seniors he wrote something like, "Have you read How Brands Grow?" And I was like, okay, maybe this thing seems interesting. But that put me into kind of a wormhole of Edinburgh Bass Institute and how brands grow, one,
Yeah.
two, other books and stuff. So their articles. Then fortunately, Coca-Cola had subscription to all of their kind of learnings and materials. So I went through a lot of them. So again, that curiosity, maybe the reason I do that is because I feel that that helps me become a better marketing person. So again, these would be the kind of rough edges around somebody who likes to help somebody who's a trier, and maybe somebody who's inherently curious. So I think that would be the three maybe elements that I would want to highlight.
Yeah, thanks for sharing this insight with us because learning never stops.
Absolutely.
So I think that this is like one of the critical things, and marketers are very creative people, and we can see that
Mhm.
marketers are very creative people, and they don't stop learning. This is a very inbuilt kind of a thing in marketer. So thank you for sharing your
If I can
journey
just
with
add,
us.
add an aside over there,
Yeah.
because primarily we'll be talking here to marketing people, or maybe the core prime prospect for this might be marketing people. Is it again in marketing? Of course, we should learn, but our learning and growth shouldn't be based on hearsay. It should be based on some research. You're in academia, so you would appreciate this. It should be based on research. It should be based on something that is backed up by data and stuff.
Yeah.
So again, that's the reason. That's what attracted me, and again, that's why I keep on highlighting to people that I read the Edinburgh Bass work, because I really feel it's backed up by a lot of real world learnings rather than somebody's whim coming up with saying, maybe this will work. And I sometimes really feel that a lot of times marketing is based on that somebody's whim, which it shouldn't be. It's a beautiful field. I love marketing, and I would want it to be presented in the best manner possible. So again, that's why I love the work of Edinburgh Bass. Some while back, I got a note from Dr. Byron Sharp, because I commented on something. He was talking about a LinkedIn. So Dr. Byron Sharp, who I absolutely consider the superstar of marketing, he sent me a kind of a personalized note, first on LinkedIn, then written letter notes. I have it somewhere in my archives. So that was an honor. But I think that I would really, for any kind of marketing people, if they don't take care of anything else, that would be that. Please go through the works of the Edinburgh Bass Institute, Dr. Byron Sharp. There are a lot of other professors out there, Professor John Dawes and Jenny Romniak and stuff. They have outstanding work over there.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right because and especially in this world of data, how can't you be the data driven? So you
Absolutely.
have to make the informed decision with the data. And data can be the observation as well, but that has to be a holistic observation that you are having.
I think
So
I think in that regard, so PNG used to have this thing, which says that which used to say, maybe it's a PNG thing, maybe it's somewhere else, but it used to say at PNG a lot, which was that without data, whatever you say is just your kind of opinion. It really
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
So if you need to back it up with data. And then otherwise, there's this another thing, this concept that I read in Adam Grant's book, which is HIPPO, which is basically if you don't have data, then HIPPO wins. And what is the HIPPO? Highest paid person's opinion. So
Mhm.
whoever is the highest paid person, his opinion wins if you don't have a data. So that's why I like this whole kind of concept about that PNG had, that bring the data in and then let that do the talking.
Yeah, true, true, true. Now let's go back to Samsung. Samsung is a global brand, but are there any key marketing decisions that you are making locally?
See, most companies now that I work with, so I've been fortunate to work
Mm-hmm.
with like what we call the global companies, but there is an element of what you call local in them, which is
Yeah.
basically a lot of the things are global, and then a lot of things are local, and then you meet somewhere in the middle. So, for example, for Samsung, a lot of that flagship innovation, product innovation, of course, will be coming from our headquarters, in terms of Fold 6 आएगा, S24 है. So of course, the product innovation that will be coming from there. And then for the really big launches, of the flagship launches, we do get a lot of content from headquarters. Okay, these
Mm-hmm.
are the things that you should be highlighting. These are the aspects, and which is perfectly fine, because those guys are the product expert. Those guys are making it over there. They have the absolute cutting edge understanding of the product. So I think perfectly fine. So they will be sending a lot of materials from us. But then what they encourage us to do, and that's actually because we have a launch coming up for the Fold next Fold lineup. So what they would be asking us to do is to send us our proposals, that how would you amplify this? So how would you take this campaign and how would you amplify this? Whether that is through local influencers, whether that's through local on-ground activities, experiential activities. So again, what what most companies now are trying to do is, again, trying to leverage the scale of the headquarters. The scale, the headquarter can make these things for everybody, but then we try to have the complement it with the creativity, with the connection and the local connection of the local content. So again, um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you're going to be talking about it, but whenever we have a flagship coming up, so we have the S24, we launched it like in Jan Feb. So we had the global content coming in, but then we made a lot of local content just to amplify the whole thing. We had celebrities around it. Isi tarah, when we did Flip 5 launch, so we had the global content coming in, but we had Hania, we took her on board, and we had a full campaign done with Hania on Flip
Mm-hmm.
5.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's a complement of the global and the local. And then just to the second part of your question, or maybe the second answer to your question. So basically, on the not local, but primarily we have two series, right? So we have the flagship premier series, in which we have the Z series, which is the folding phones, Flip and the Fold. And then we have the S24 or S series, which is our kind of the big phone, but the most powerful phone that we have. And then we have the A series, which are the mass phones that we have. So in the mass phones, we have a whole lot more, because in a way, Pakistan becomes one of the biggest markets for mass phones. So over there, we have lot more room to innovate and actually come up with our own campaigns, because the global focus is mostly on flagships. Whereas,
Mm-hmm.
so they will be providing us a product on mass, but a lot of the innovation in terms of communication and stuff that
Mm-hmm.
can be done locally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting to know actually that how do you reinforce the global campaign at the local level? But before I move to the campaign that we will discuss about, that how did you develop it locally, I would like to understand that who is your target market?
Oh, okay. So in that case, see, because Samsung as a brand plays across segments. So again, we have a we have a phone which we call the A05 as a A04, which is like the starting entry level phone in the mass phone, and then we take it all the way up to A55. We recently launched, and so that's your mass range. And then you would have your premium or flagship range, which in which you have the S24 and the Z Fold 5 and the Z Flip 5, and then you
Mhm.
will be having the new foldables coming up. So again, our kind of um, target market ranges all the way from value maximizers, people who are trying to, get the best but in an affordable manner, to people who are actually, the life maximizers, people who are actually trying to maximize, the best out of the best that they can get from a phone in terms of, photography or the experience and stuff. So again, that we have a quite a diverse consumer segments. So again, A05, the starting point, those would be most focused on the people who are maybe cash strapped. Affordability is a big issue. They want something which is good enough, and they want the reassurance of a Samsung phone, versus the ones at the other end which really want the cutting edge of performance technology, 200 megapixel zoom, the best camera, 8K photography, 8K video, and all those things. So again, we have a big range, and I think that's a kind of a challenge for us as well, because it's easier if you're just advertising or campaigning or communicating to the one segment, whereas we actually have to segment our audience into multiple sets,
Yeah.
and then we have to cater to their needs.
Yeah. So as we are talking about the segments, I'm switching now to your latest campaign, Circle It, Find It. Now, this campaign is developed at the global level as well. Very successful campaign. So what I'll do, I'll show the advertisements, the
Sure.
global and the Pakistani one first, and then we will have a comment on that.
Absolutely.
So let me go to the advertisement. First, I'm showing the global campaign.
Circle it. Circle. You let me circle it. I can find anything if I circle it. Let me circle it. I'm like circle. When I'm hanging with my friends, I can circle it. I can find anything if I circle it. See something that you like, you can draw around it. Can you circle it? Cause I can circle it. See something that you like, you can draw around it.
So this was the international campaign, the global campaign, and now this is the By the way, I really like the global campaign. Its
No, no,
music is
absolutely.
awesome. There is a vibe in it. So
Absolutely.
now we are showing the local campaign.
करने का मजा ही नहीं है gold plated glasses for a gold class person with a golden vision अब ये alligator skin shoes ही देख लो it cost me 8 lakhs specially imported from Italy भाई जरूर नहीं this gold ring ये एक gift था Prince of Genovia की तरफ से specially made only for me rupees 999 Excuse me, bro. Rupees 999 online. The truth is now just a circle away. Circle and search it, just like that. ये जैकेट भी तुझे प्रिंस ने गिफ्ट की होगी यार पायन तुसी भी
So that's also a very interesting campaign. There is a lot of humor in it. So, but it's different from the global campaign.
Yeah.
So tell us something about how did you conceive it and why did you make it different from the global campaign?
See, okay, so the global campaign, it's a more kind of talking about the whole kind of the feature, introducing the feature again. So how you can actually circle it and search it. So it's actually something which is done in collaboration with Google. So this is a Google kind of thing that comes into Samsung. So we circle it and search it. So I think it's a great collaboration. It's part of our Galaxy AI suite of not suite, Galaxy AI thing platform. So but when we looked at it we ran it for 2-3 months. We ran the global campaign for 2-3 months. But then there is an element of how you can take it to a higher level. So again, we felt that that was at a starting point where it talked about the how you can circle it and search for it. But how do we take it in a local context? And when we looked at the local context, we had an insight that in Pakistan, a lot of people, unfortunately, like to exaggerate what they have or what are they wearing and stuff. So we actually came up with this concept. We called it the truth teller concept. So basically, in a way, the circle it kind of a thing becomes a truth teller. So again, somebody is saying that I have a gold-plated glasses or gold-plated ring. You can actually just maybe take a picture and circle it and try to find it whether actually that guy is being telling the truth or not. So again, even if you look at the other copy that we had with Wasim Akram, even that one played on the same kind of concept. So the truth teller concept, because in that one the guy is saying something, he's showing off that I know French, and this and that, and I learned it in my school, and then he says something in French, but then the guy sitting next to it, which is the second avatar of Wasim Akram, he says, no, actually, he said something else. He said something completely different, which meant that ye apne aap ko bandar keh raha hai. So again, so the whole kind of concept was the truth teller concept, that this Galaxy S24, it's not just a phone, it's actually a truth teller, which helps you tell the truth not just on objects, what are the price, where you can find it and stuff, but also in terms of the language that you can actually it can interpret. So I think the reason why we had it is again local. What we always feel is that the local element brings a lot of connectivity with the consumer. So again, we ran this copies locally, the global copies for a while, and we got really good feedback, as you said. I also really loved them, and I was really happy that the headquarters came up with some really strong copies. But the kind of response that we got from the local copies, you can't match them, because people know Wasim Akram. They've a lot of them have been brought up looking at Wasim Akram. He's immensely popular. Even we actually did a kind of a research, or we just looked up his kind of numbers in terms of what is the number of millennials which follow him, what are the number of Gen Z which follow him. So he's pretty popular in Gen Z as well. So again, because that's one of the core target audiences that we're going after. So again, he's very popular over there. And then the whole thing about humor. We used to talk about the fact that humor really, because the key thing that you want an advertisement to do is to drive recall. And how do you drive recall? The key thing to drive recall is through emotions, and you can either make it really sad, which normally doesn't work, or you could make it kind of humorous. So in this case, it makes it memorable. So again, we used to talk about it in PNG that it might be a bit blasphemous to say, but they used to say three Fs. Whenever you're looking at a campaign or a copy, think about three Fs. The first one, is it focused on the benefit? The second one was, is it fresh? Is it different? And does it leave you with any kind of feeling? So these were the three Fs that we used to look at. So when we look at this kind of campaign idea or the communication idea, I felt that it was ticking all the boxes in a very nice manner, that it was leaving with a nice feeling. It was focused on the benefit. And it was very fresh. So these are the kind of elements that we felt we could do. So again, in summary, I think the global does its job, introduces the kind of the feature, what the great feature is, and then we just build on it via the local communication, just to reinforce the benefit. So it's not either or kind of a thing. It's actually the power of some people call it both. There's a professor called Mark Ritson. He talks about boathism, which is basically, why not do both? So do the global content and the local content, so that you have the power of both working for you.
No, I like this concept of the power of both, which works very nicely actually, because it complements each other.
We used to have this general manager. So again, you have these company leaders that you take a lot of inspiration from. So we used to have this extremely funny and extremely easygoing vice president Al Rajwani. So he used to say, whenever we used to go and say that we used to do this. He was like, and what? So there's this power of and, right? So why don't you have this power of and? So again, that's what I think is played over here as well. That we get all those content. So in all of the campaigns that I've been here for the last 1 year, 1.5 years, we do get the global content. We done that, and we actually, for the last 2-3 campaigns, it has been pretty amazing. So we do run that, but then we complement that by the local content. So I'm not sure if you saw the Hania. There's an ad that we shot with Hania. I really loved that. So that was, I think, amazing in the sense that how you can bring flip 5 to the 4th. So again, it's just how you can actually make it more memorable, and how you can make it more clutter breaking for the consumers.
Yeah, clutter breaking is important, of course. So let's go to your product portfolio. It's a very wide product, as you mentioned, and therefore you have very wide segments as well. How do you price it? Do you have, because again, the question goes back to my first question, that there must be some global instructions, but then there must be some leeway that you have at the local level. So how do you do pricing?
So I think pricing, of course, it's a key, especially in an affordability market like Pakistan's, because everybody is trying to. I think pricing is key in any market, but especially for our markets, especially at the lower tier um, products. So I think there are a few elements. Of course, we do get pricing from global because I think everybody is aware, that the components are not being made in Pakistan. So of course,
Yeah.
it's being imported. It's being made in Vietnam and other places and stuff in Korea. So we get them over here. So we have to. There is this element of intercompany billing price, or basically, in a way that you do get a kind of a price to acquire those products. Then we put them together. We have very strong partners, the Lucky Motors, who are actually assembling this in Pakistan, and then we take it. Then we actually uh, sell it to the consumers. I think the key price components of the pricing is, of course, one is the competition. So what are the products which are in the market with the kind of similar specs? So that's one element that we have in our mind, that we don't go too far off them, while we do command a premium, and that's based on our kind of the cutting edge of technology that we have, the brand imagery that we've been able to build over the years, and again, all the kind of marketing investment that we have in place. So we do actually keep a premium, but we have a few benchmarks that we feel that we shouldn't exceed those benchmarks, because over a period of time, and I think that this happens in any kind of companies, over a period of time, you build up these kind of guardrails, that these are the pricing guardrails, that you don't go beyond this percent up or down. So we actually keep those guardrails, and those guardrails are based on, a lot of times, based on regression working, market mix modeling, other kind of things, that once you go beyond a kind of a certain price range, the share starts suffering. So what you need to do is, while my job is to always, maybe from a marketing perspective, keep on increasing the kind of band. If I could initially command a 20% price premium, can I take it up to 25%, 30%? So that's my kind of a job. One of, I think, again, Mark Ritson, one of the professors that I follow a lot, he used to say that, marketing's job is to make the product less and less price elastic. So in a way, so that's the core job that I have. That's what so again, with all the kind of imagery, my thing is that how can I increase the premium? But we do have those kind of guardrails in terms of a similar spec phone from the competition, and then we try to price it within that kind of a range, and if you do not breach those kind of guardrails.
Yeah. So again, with the pricing, we want our product to be so strong that at times there is price becomes a secondary thing. But in a Pakistani market, price plays a very important role because it's a price sensitive market, right? As we are talking about it, that the pricing, of course, is an important decision making variable. There is another very important decision making variable, which is distribution. When
Absolutely.
you go to a shop to buy a mobile, and if the mobile is not there, you might shift to the competitor's product. So, therefore, distribution network becomes very important. So, how do you manage it? What is your distribution strategy?
I think so. Overall, in terms of distribution, so we have, I think, one of the start from the starting point. So again, we have our kind of assembling partner. So we are assembling this in Pakistan. Then we have our distributor partners. So we have the different distributor partners, multiple distributor partners, so that we can actually leverage their strength to ensure that we have the right supply in the market for all the right portfolio. Because if you have one or two distributors at times, then they can suffer from their own kind of financial constraints, other constraints as well. So we have multiple distributor partners. Then from there we have this network of master dealers. So maybe 200-300 master dealers across Pakistan. So the distributors sell it to, in a way, to the master dealers, and then the master dealers will sell it either to the consumers, and then they will also send it to the dealers or the retailers. So again, that's the kind of full network that we have in place. And again, the kind of struggle, the kind of the challenge always is to maximize. In Pakistan, we have, I think, close to 6,000 uh, mobile retail shops. So then what you have to do is you have to make sure that, you don't go too deep, because at times if you go too deep, then there's an issue of inventory getting stuck, or, drop size becoming too small. But you have, we used to call this concept ACV, or the weighted coverage. So the weighted coverage should be pretty high, so that the most of the consumers within the industry are getting served. So again, we feel we have a pretty good network right now across Pakistan, through our distributors, through master dealers and dealers, that is able to help us deliver the product so to the consumers. But to add to that, I think that of recent, and again, something which is relevant to me, and maybe something which is relevant to the whole kind of the move towards online, as we also now have a .com, Samsung.com. So anybody can go to that Samsung.com and they can purchase all the kind of products. In fact, we actually have a few kind of exclusive benefits which are available for people who buy online through .com. Then we also have our online partners, like pure play partners that we call, somebody like a Priceway, Daraz, Kiss Bazaar, Telemart. So all these partners are also there. So again, even if somebody is not able to find the phone in a shop, they do have the available, they have the option of going online and buying it. And again, slowly but surely, that number of online purchase is also going up, because there is an element of convenience, and especially if you're buying it from a trusted company. For example, the .com is managed by us. So if you're buying it, so you have the full surety that it is coming from .com, the company is actually behind it. Or even if you're buying it from a company like Pure Play like Priceway, they have been able to build a reputation over the last few years. Similarly, with Daraz, we have our own, page over there. So in a way, we work with them. It's Daraz selling the product, not somebody else. So again, you can actually buy there also. And then you also have this Kiss Bazaar. The reason I like Kiss Bazaar is because you also have this kind of option of maybe doing what we call BNPL, buy now, pay later kind of a thing. So in which you can actually set up kisto wali jo khani hoti hai, installments. So now I think that this is one really exciting aspect of the of our business, that the online channels are coming up, and the online channels are slowly starting to address one of the core issues that we have, which is affordability.
Yeah, that's true. We are talking about the online space, then we have to talk about the social media space. Samsung is very good with its Facebook social media space. It is, I think it has 162 million followers on Facebook. So tell me about Pakistan's social media marketing strategy. How are you managing it?
So I think, again, any marketing campaign, I think it would be amiss, or it would have a kind of a gap in it if it now doesn't address, if it doesn't have social media as part of it. So again, normally whenever we're making a campaign, we go 360. So when I talk about 360, we will of course go TV, because still TV has a lot of kind of following in the Pakistan, especially if you're doing it in prime time or on cricket and stuff, because that really does get you a lot of incremental reach. So again, my kind of strategy in most things, most campaigns, is reach. So reach is the key component for me. Again, based on the segment that we're talking about. So if it's a premium segment, reach within the premium segment. If it's a mass segment, reach within the mass segment. So again, in that case, of course, a lot of times TV will get you a great reach. But then when you move on to the whole kind of digital aspect, so again, one of the key things over there is YouTube. If you look at YouTube, a lot of delayed drama viewing, blogs now over the last 2-3 years, even political blogs and stuff. So a lot of people are watching that. A lot of commentary on events and stuff, that's there. And then of course the drama. So again, most of the dramas, as soon as they're posted in a day or two, they have 2-3 million views per episode and stuff. So there we are advertising over there. So we have the in-stream ads on YouTube as well. So in a way, on TV, when we look at TV, we look at TV and YouTube in a way together. So it's like online video or the video bit, which is basically drama on TV and drama on YouTube. For our purpose, it's more or less the same because it is serving more or less the same consumer. Then you have TikTok, which is again really taken off in Pakistan, which is really popular with Gen Z, especially with mass Gen Z, maybe also premium Gen Z, but mass Gen Z is massively on TikTok. And then you have Facebook, of course. Um, Facebook is not just Facebook itself, but it's Meta as well. So Meta, of course, is very popular with Gen Z, maybe Gen M also. So we do have posting over there. We do have advertisements over there, and then we have other elements as well. So now Snapchat is coming up as well. So what we normally do is not just link to Facebook, but Facebook, of course, is one of the biggest mediums. So in terms of some of the numbers that I have, the highest kind of digital medium in Pakistan, would be YouTube with 72 million viewers, and the number two would be Facebook, 47 to 48 million, if I'm not mistaken. So of course, I can't miss it. I can't miss it. So we do have a page. We do actually put up a lot of our .com offers on those on there, but we also do post. We actually do boost it over there. So again, it's a whole kind of it's part of the holistic marketing plan that we have, that we need to have Facebook, we need to have YouTube, and we need to have TikTok. And again, we do actually also get guidelines in terms of what are the kind of content that you can post. Again, we recently had this kind of a global conference in terms of what are the content, what are the priority channels that you have by kind of consumer segments, what are the content that you can post, what content works best. I think that's where, as I talked before, the power of the and coming up with local content, but actually the global providing us with guidelines in terms of what are the elements that work best on different mediums. So whether should you put up a story or should you put up a post, what works better? Should you put up a story about price communication or should you put up a post about price communication? So again, all these kind of different guidelines we will be getting. And every time actually we do put up out a post, it goes through all those kind of elements. So again, maybe that's an additional thing that might be helpful to your viewers as well, that we have this whole kind of a check, because now in this kind of world, anything that you say can become a big thing, talking point. So anytime that you have any post going out, there's a whole kind of a protocol in which I will review it, legal will review it, somebody else from administration will review it to ensure that something that is going out does not have a kind of any impact or negative impact on the business.
Yeah, true, true, true. Now I'm going towards my last question. Now, unfortunately, inflation is rising in Pakistan. And so the purchasing power, the buying power of consumers, it is shrinking. Now, in this situation, in this scenario, how are you tackling it? So what is your strategy? As a marketer, what is your strategy?
I think the one key thing, of course, would be for us to actually highlight the benefits of our product more and more. So again, whether that be the emotional benefits that the people can get, or the kind of product benefit that they can't get. I think so. We have to build up our product. So I think that would be imperative number one. So we have to keep on telling people about our great products. We have to keep on reminding them about our great products, just to press upon them that maybe if they bought a phone like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe this is the time when they have to upgrade or change. I think that would be the key thing for me, just to drive the reminder, drive the recall with the consumers that they have to actually change the product. So again, as being a Samsung person, so I think that would be my job number one, that I have to keep on building that kind of a FOMO, or the fear of missing out with the consumer, that if I do not buy this product, I'm missing out on something, and based on different campaigns and stuff. So I think that would be number one job for me. The second one would be is how can I actually make it easier for somebody to purchase a product, or how can I play a part in spreading awareness about different things that can help consumer overcome that price barrier. So again, we recently launched, I think last year, August or September, we launched this trading platform. So across Pakistan, we have maybe close to 200 shops where you have this kind of a trade-in sign where you can go in, and we are actually supporting this trade-in activity in which you can actually take your old phone in and actually you can trade in that phone, get a kind of a discount on the next phone, Samsung phone, and then you can take it. So you can actually trade in any phone, but you can buy a Samsung phone. So you can buy trade in whatever phone you have, take it over there. There will be a kind of a price that would be assessed over there, and then you will be able to get a new Samsung phone based on that trade-in price. And we are supporting this activity to help us actually convince more people to switch to Samsung. So one of the things my job would be to actually spread awareness more and more about this campaign. So we actually last year came up with a campaign with Hamza Ali Abbasi, which was basically on this trade-in concept, which was normally, and again that was based on an insight as well because you're primarily marketing people here. So you had this normally हमने उसमें concept was कि गोलियां या टॉफियां. So the guy goes in and there's Nayyar Ajaz, he's sitting over there. He says क्या चाहिए? He said क्या मतलब क्या चाहिए? He said गोलियां या टॉफियां? He said गोलियां या टॉफियां. The concept was that normally when you do a trade in you get a गोलियां या टॉफियां. So you like बहुत थोड़े से चिल्लड़ सा मिलता है आपको जब आप जाके trade in करते हैं. But with Samsung trade in you could actually get the right price for your product and then get the right product. So again, we built on that kind of market observation because as you said, data, market understanding, market observation. So based on that, we built that kind of a campaign. And that got us really good feedback. And trade-in has been a good success for us. We got regional awards, regional best practices around this as well. Again, this was another aspect, going back to your earlier question about where local comes in. So sometimes there are the global campaigns, but the trade-in happens across the world. But in Pakistan, it's a new concept. So we came up with a new campaign. Similarly, we had a .com that we launched. We have a .com for a while, but we felt that the awareness was pretty low. So we launched a local .com campaign. That's a pretty interesting campaign as well, in which, it actually talks about, people dancing in unexpected settings. So somebody dancing at a dentist office. Normally, you have trepidation when you're going into the dentist's office, or कि आपके दांत के साथ क्या होगा. But somebody is dancing because they found all the great offers that are available on .com. Or somebody is standing at a checkout teller, and she suddenly starts dancing, and then she's dancing because she found some great offers on .com. So again, just to bring out that whole kind of exaggerate the whole thing about the great benefit that you get out of .com. So anyway, going back to the trade-in bit, so we had the whole communication about the trade-in. The third element that we are working on is also in terms of how can we encourage buy now pay later things. So we are now partnering with partners like Kist Bazaar, where we are offering our products that you can get them at maybe something like as low as 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 per month. Similarly, for S24, even for our premium products, we did this EIP thing, which is called Easy Installment Plan with Price Way. So again, as Samsung, what we're also trying to do is, yes, while we try to keep our prices within the reach of the consumers, we also try to offer the consumers the best product. We want to remind them that what they're missing out if they don't buy the product. But we're also trying to facilitate them via these EIP, BNPL, trade-in offers that can actually help consumers buy the new product and actually take down the purchase barrier, pricing barrier for them.
Yeah, it's you mentioned about these three very creative steps, I must say, that can certainly help Samsung to combat the current situation that we have at the moment. So thank you, Saad. Thank you for this lovely meeting. And this was quite insightful. I came to know about a few things. I came to know about your passion for learning. You mentioned a few names of the gurus of marketing. I'm sure our viewers will search for those. So once again, thank you for joining us and have a good day. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Farrah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.